Hello, Forge fans. It's the Forge Audio Network. I'm Anthony Urciuoli, and it is the match day preview for Forge FC hosting Atletico Ottawa 4 o'clock on Sunday at Tim Hortons Field. And you can join us for the Canada Day weekend celebration, and hopefully Forge will be celebrating a victory after a slight hiccup after being the most in-form club in the Canadian Premier League. Forge dropping points at home, losing 1-0 to Valor. Last match, that was back on Wednesday. Short week for Forge, even shorter week for Atletico, who played Thursday night in Halifax and then having to travel to Hamilton. So in terms of rest, Forge, the club that they've been at home for a while now, they haven't had to travel in a bit. So Forge in a pretty good position that way. We're going to hear from head coach and technical director Bobby Smyrniotis. We're also going to hear from the man known as Triston Henry, the goalkeeper for Forge FC. Coming into this match, huge opportunity for Forge. They've played 2 less games than Atletico, who's holding down second place right now, but they're 4 points back. So, all of these matches are 6-point swings, but in this case, a win, Forge is a point out of second place, and they still have 2 games in hand. So huge opportunity for Forge FC, and they will be hungry for a win after what happened last match. Okay, let's check in. The guy in charge, the man in charge, the beard, head coach and technical director, Bobby Smyrniotis. Of course, you're focused on the actual match, but I'm just thinking of it from a fan perspective. You know, you're spending the Canada Day weekend at home. You have, Forge Soccer, and it just, it's a way to celebrate the league, the country. It just all kind of goes together. So maybe just your thoughts on being able to play this match at home this weekend with the fans?
Yeah, it doesn't get any better. Like you said, it's a lot of good things. One, it's we live in this beautiful country that is Canada, and we always want to celebrate on our country's birthday. And then we live in a country that's not slowly but quickly becoming more and more of a football nation, a soccer nation. So I think it's always a good thing from that end, and we hope there's a great crowd out tomorrow. I think we've been playing some entertaining football, and we want to continue doing the same thing tomorrow.
How do you go about getting players kind of reacclimated to the lineup? Kwesi's back with the club. Garvin played a lot of minutes last match, but just from a coach's perspective, just trying to get guys back in and get the minutes, what's kind of your thought process there?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think the most important thing is throughout the whole training side of things, it's every player is part of everything we do. So there's no emphasis on, 5 players are in a starting 11 at any point in the season. So every player is always well versed in what's going on. So then, if there's a period out from injury or national team, it's not as if that player has missed something before and has missed a lot while he's gone. So I think it's just about them getting back in, getting a few repetitions in what we're doing, sharpen things up in the week, and then they're ready to go. Now, that's all dependent on how guys have been performing, where we are, if certain players, their loads are a little bit too high, and we look to put guys in and get certain minutes. But right now, the team is playing some good football. We had a little bit of a bump against Valor, but we're playing some good football. So it's just, to be honest, it's good to be getting guys back into the lineup that can help us, whether it's starting or coming in off the bench.
Yeah, one big thing that Forge talked about after that last match is just it was uncharacteristic. Anyone that watched it saw the same thing as I did and as the club did. A sloppiness that we haven't really seen much out of Forge, not since maybe early in the season. And it's a club that prides itself on its possession, on its ability to make plays, move the ball, make clean passes, successful passes, and to be able to play at a certain tempo that a lot of teams can't match. Most teams can't match. Pound for pound, player for player, Forge FC is in a league of their own in terms of talent, skill, and just their tactical demand and the way they like to attack in the final third and through the middle. Now, last match, Forge turned the ball over more than they have in a long time. Passing into blocks, that was something that head coach and technical director Bobby Smyrniotis talked about a lot after the last match. And essentially, teams that play Forge are going to line up. They're going to do a mid block. They're going to line up across the middle of the field. They're going to do a deep block. They're going to line up just outside their box in the final third for Forge. And they're going to force Forge to have to move the ball, make plays, and find little windows, find little pockets in between that coverage. And what Bobby wants and what the players want is to move the ball around, make those blocks move, make them spread apart. It's easy to defend when the other club isn't moving the ball as much and when they're not playing with a high level of tempo. I mean, Bobby talks about the fact that you want to make the players defending, you want them to have to worry about multiple things. And the only way you can do that is by always playing on the front foot and keeping momentum going. And when you do that offensively, it's also the best defense. Hang on to the ball, rack up that possession number, and then finish plays. It's much easier on the Forge defense when they're playing that possession game. It's also easier for the goalkeeper, Triston Henry. And let's check in to hear what he had to say as Forge head into their weekend match with Atletico.
I think what's benefited us in the prior games was starting off on the front foot, scoring early. I think once we do that, we put that added pressure on the opponent. So I think that would be good to start the game tomorrow. But a lot of it is just working on those details that we didn't do last game, and I think that's what hindered us in the end.
Yeah, and now that some guys are getting healthier, the options are getting bigger, and the depth is kind of really showing now. Do you think it'll take maybe just a little bit of time for some of the guys that have been out for a while to get reacclimated?
Maybe just getting up to speed of the game, maybe because of the injuries. But as a team, I don't think so, because we have that depth, and we know when a guy goes out, the next guy that steps in, he has the same quality to continue us, keeping us going forward. So
now, as you can see, I'm wearing my Kyle Becker commemorative shirt after he played in his 100th match. His next match will be 101. Forge has played a lot of soccer over the last few seasons. And Kyle Becker has played more matches himself than any CPL club has played matches. And by a pretty wide margin, by like 12 matches. I think Calvary is the closest. So, I mean, Becker is in a league of his own, but there are guys creeping in, and they're all Forge players. Alex Ashinoti Janssen has played 95 career matches with Forge. Dominic Samuels at 90. He would have been closer had he not got injured. Triston Henry, who we just heard from, has played 89. David Chouanier has played 85. The numbers are racking up here for more than just Kyle Becker. Obviously, Kyle was the first to hit 100, but a lot of Forge players with a lot of matches under their belt. By the way, I just want to point out Triston Henry has 34 career clean sheets. And that's in 3.5 seasons. So Henry he has 48 wins, 48 wins as well. So Triston Henry is in his own right on his way to becoming one of the greatest CPL goalkeepers that the league's ever seen. I know it's a fairly new league, but I mean, Triston Henry has to be considered the benchmark. All right, Forge FC, after a scoreless match against Valor, the team that leads the league in goals by a mile will look to get back on the board, and Forge usually responds pretty well to disappointing performances. We can all remember what happened in that disastrous CF Montreal match and the Forge club that spawned from that. Going into that match against Valor, Forge had combined for 14 goals in the CPL in their last 4 matches. Were they going to be able to continue that pace going forward? It would have been difficult. That hiccup against Valor shows how difficult and how much more impressive that run for Forge has been. If you're around this weekend, if you didn't go to the Cottage or anywhere else, come down to Tim Hortons Field on Sunday and join in on the Canada Day celebrations at Tim Hortons Field Sunday, 4 o'clock start time against Atletico Ottawa. Couple of notes for you. There will be players signing autographs and taking photos before the match by the Stipley, which is in the South Plaza, the side opposite the video board. There's going to be a giveaway. Plush Canada soccer balls are going to be given away after the match. The usual $5 beers before kickoff when gates open at 3 o'clock. So between 3 and 4, beers will be $5. And Families on the Pitch will be happening 15 minutes at the end of the match. People are encouraged to come down, kick around on the pitch, and take photos if they'd like. So a lot to get excited about. And Forge, hopefully we could all celebrate a Forge victory. Once again, 4 o'clock start time. Keep it locked onto the Forge Audio Network. 3 keys to the match will be coming up. And after the match against Atletico, we will be here to recap it. And just, I always say it, keep it locked. That's the best way to put it. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you get all of your Forge content. The only place to get Forge content like this is right here on the Forge Audio Network. Thanks for listening. We'll see you this weekend.
Forge FC is prepared, and now you are informed. This has been Match Day Preview with Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.